James McFadden, well, first of all, welcome to Adelaide. It's Saturday afternoon. We're day 3 into the 4-day festival of sprint cars in the city. How's things been?
Yeah, a lot of fun, mate. It's a really cool concept. As you can hear, race cars going around the track right now, and we're in the middle of it. So, yeah, just honoured to be here, thrilled to be here. Can't believe the exposure that's bringing to us, and bigger and better things in the future, I hope.
Yeah. What were your thoughts when you first heard that they were bringing sprint cars not only into the Supercars round, but right here into the city of Adelaide?
Oh, great. Adelaide was such a hub for sprint car racing for such a long time. When I grew up, this is where we came to watch racing and race. So it was just a good feeling, mate. Like, everything about it seemed great. Obviously, people had their concerns about how to build a track, but at the end of the day, as long as everyone here showcased the sport in the right note, it was always going to succeed.
Yeah. I did see a lot of negative comments on Facebook regarding the fencing and stuff. I don't really want to go into that because we do have obviously professional people who have designed the track and signed off on it. Have you actually seen, though, a temporary track being put in like it has been before?
Yeah, I actually expressed to all the guys organising that I was a part of one in Nashville with the World of Outlaws. The track was actually smaller than this, and it actually raced really cool. So, yeah, I have been a part of things like that, and we have some really, really small tracks we race on in America too. So, you knew it was all going to be right, but there's always negative Nancy's in the world, mate. That's the world we live in. People just like to put other people down that are trying to do well, so they can stay home.
Well, the funny, whether it's funny or not, but everybody that I've spoken to here who has actually seen the sprint cars in person, positive comments all round, and like you said before, it showcases your sport, and you're probably getting a lot more eyes on your sport, which wouldn't necessarily see it.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the whole reason to be here, right? We cater to the sprint car fan every Saturday night, at Murray Bridge and at Tulma and at Avalon and Warrnambool and Toowoomba and all the places that we race, Perth. But they're the people that watch us every weekend. So to tap into a market that is obviously a motorsport market that maybe a little different is something that we need to really try and do. The crossover between supercars and sprint cars right now is pretty high with some of those guys that, like Cam and Brody and some others that are showing some interest in it. And then you've got your Larsons and things, and Shane Van Gisbergen and stuff in America that are racing sprint cars, and it's I think it's always going to work. The cross-pollination between supercars and sprint cars is a great thing. Obviously, supercars are at the top level of the sport, motorsport, and sprint cars are at the top level of dirt. So it's a marriage made in heaven, isn't it?
Where do people start off? So if there's a lot of kids watching, or young adults, whatever, how do they get into sprint cars? What sort of the career progression? Do you start off in dirt karting, or?
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways. Each state has a different path. There's no real sort of this is how you get there and this is how you do it. But for me personally, I started in go-karts and basically jumped into a sprint car straight away from a ADCA dirt kart. So, we have junior Formula 500s, which are a great thing. We have junior sedans. We have, speedway go-karts. A lot of different things that sort of are stepping stones into what we do now.
I've seen a few other categories here utilising the track. Do you reckon, obviously this is the first year, in years to come there'll be more options to bring in more of those categories?
Oh, maybe, mate. I think there's room here to actually do this more than one weekend. Like let's put on a really big sprint car race that pays a lot of money 2 weeks before this race, or bring the midgets here or the sedans or something. I still think sprint car racing is the top level of our sport. The hard thing with dirt, right, is the sun and the daytime. It's hard to keep a track really good, and so that's probably the one thing that's going to stop us from having multiple classes or 100 sprint cars sitting in the pit area is just how hard it is to keep moisture in the racetrack. But what they've done is phenomenal, and as everyone saw the racing, it was phenomenal too.
Absolutely. Just tell people a little bit about the cars. Is it 900 horsepower and there's a better power to weight ratio than Formula One?
Yeah, so we're about 900 to 950, depends who you talk to, what dyno you read, and we have to weigh about 1,450 pounds. So what's that, 640 kilos or something? So they're light. and they're not really made to go slow. So it's they're a lot of fun to try and get a hold of. Obviously, an upside down airplane wing basically on the roof to keep us down on the ground, and big right rear tire. So there's probably 12 inches of difference between the left rear tire and the right rear tire, and that helps us turn. So yeah, they're a wild car.
I was actually having a look at the driving position because I'm used to Formula One where they're basically laying down in the bathtub, and then you've got Supercars, which is a bit more of a standard sedan sort of setting position. But yours are more like, and don't. I'm glad you said it because I was going to say don't take offence to this, but it's more like a bus driver position with the wheel, isn't it?
Yeah, and the drive shaft runs right between our legs. So we don't have a gearbox or anything either. So we only lose 8% of the horsepower to the wheels from the engine. So yeah, they're basically designed so they're as small as possible so we can get grip, and they're nimble and move around. So if they're any wider or any bigger, they'd be like that two-seater to get around and pretty tough.
I want to have a quick chat to you about the two-seater because, yeah, I've seen two-seater Formula One cars where the similar position, the driver sits in front of the passenger, or you can have two passengers either side. Whose idea was it, though, to make a two-seater sprint car?
They've been around a while. We just keep refining them each year and trying to make them nicer and nicer. And every single component on that car there, including the engine and brakes and stuff, could go straight onto a standard sprint car and you could go win races. So yeah, right. We're trying to make that as legit as possible and give everyone the experience that I get to have every weekend.
I guess that's one of the things, isn't it? Because if I said, can I take your car out for a burn, you would say, no, see you later. Yep. But if I said, hey, can I come for a drive in the two-seater, might have a little bit more of a chance, and it just gives people, I guess, that feeling of what you experience as far as the G-forces through the corner and how the car moves about, the power kick that you get when you put the throttle down. So yeah, it just gives people different that experience of how you feel it out there on the track.
Yeah, absolutely. The perspective's a wonderful thing. It looks like we're just going around in circles, but when you jump in there and you're stuck against the side of the seat and your eyes won't focus because you're bouncing around, it's a different experience. So like I said, it's just a great opportunity for us to showcase what we do. And right now we've had some pretty influential people on social medias jump in there and scare the shit out of them, which has been great.
Fantastic, James. Good luck for the rest of the week, and thanks for coming out and showcasing your sport here in Adelaide.
All good, mate. Thanks for coming.